Hey everybody, and welcome to what promises to be an outstanding live stream tonight because there's a lot to talk about. I mean, there is really a lot to talk about. This is, depending on where you are, either very early Monday morning, like 12:28 in the East, or it's 9:28 in the West, okay? Uh, and we are 24 hours away if you're on the East Coast, from it being the Tuesday primary. Tuesday's a big day in two areas, two cities. But before I talk about that, we gotta talk about NBA Finals 2018 Game 2. That's two in French. For those of you who don't know what that means, that's Deux. Duh. Game 2. Game 2. Game 2. Game 2. Game 2. And speaking of which, the Cleveland Cavaliers suddenly got gamed up, didn't they? They got their butts kicked. Woo, boy, oh boy. Let's recap the scoring per the report that we can normally find very quickly on Google. And we can start with the losing Cavaliers and the great number 23, which mirrors discussion of a number 23 of a later time, whose initials are MJ, LeBron James, or with the nickname King James. He played 44 minutes, 9 rebounds, 13 assists, 29 points. He was one away from another triple-double. Kevin Love, forward, 35 minutes, 10 rebounds, 1 assist, however, 22 points. Tristan Thompson, 23 minutes, 5 rebounds, 0 assists, 11 points, and a classic media rant. George Hill, 34 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 15 points. J.R. Smith, the Oracle Arena Warrior fan designated series MVP to this point, 31 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, and 5 points. Jeff Green, 20 minutes, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 6 points. Kyle Korver, 17 minutes, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 point. Larry Nance Jr., Jordan Clarkson, Rodney Hood, Osman, Jose Calderon, and Ante Zizic are respectively 12, 8, 4, 4, 3, and 3 minutes, with points of 2, 2, 2, 2, 4, and 2. I'm not making that up. It's 2, 2, 2, 4, and 2. I'm not kidding you. It's not. I mean, look, it could be worse. It could be 6, 6, 6, right? But look at this, okay? Well, actually, that would have been better for the Cavs. But look, Clarkson, Lance Jr. Okay, 2, 2, 2, 2, 4, and 2. You can't make this stuff up, folks. All right? Is that something akin to one of those woo? I don't know. All right, enough of that. Moving over to the victorious Golden State Warriors, and we have Draymond Green, 39 minutes, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 points. Kevin Durant, 38 minutes, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 26 points. JaVale McGee, 18 minutes, 2 rebounds, 0 assists, 12 points. Steph Curry, 38 minutes, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 33 points. Set a record, however, of those 33 points, 27 came in the form of threes. 9 3-point shots made. I believe he was 9 of 17 from the field. Set a record for 3 points made in NBA Finals history. Congratulations to Steph Curry. Klay Thompson, bum leg, bum ankle and all, 34 minutes, consider that. Two rebounds, 1 assist, 20 points. Sean Livingston, 15 minutes, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 20 points. Check that. Sean Livingston, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 10 points, not 20, 10. Nick Young, 14 minutes, 1 rebound, and 0 assists and 0 points. Jordan Bell, 11 minutes, 1 rebound, 1 assist, and no points. Excuse me, 1 assist and 5 points. Kevin Looney was 11 minutes, 1 rebound, 1 assist, no points. Dave West, 11 minutes, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 points. Quan Cook, 3 minutes, 2 points. That's it. Patrick McCaw, 3 minutes, nothing. In other words, no assists, no rebounds, no points. And Jaja Pachula, 3 minutes, 2 rebounds, and 6 points. And the focus of one quite, I thought, interesting Instagram photo taken by some friends of mine that I happened to notice on earlier, if I can get it. But it's worth noting in all this levity, right? But let's see if I can get it out there. And maybe I can, maybe I can't. It looks like it's not coming in there. But let me go back and get your comments before I go any further. And to which I say hello. Joseph Binsman says, Warriors looked better tonight. Third quarter, the Cavs woke up a bit, but more than one Warriors run, and it was over. We will see how the Cavs respond in Game 3. Well, that begs the question. How do you think the Cavs will respond in Game 3, Joseph, just out of curiosity? And by the way, did you get your notification for the live stream, or did you happen to refresh? How did that work? Because I'm still monitoring that situation. YouTube sent out a kind of a blanket apology regarding the problems. Apparently, I'm not the only one who's experienced this. You're not the only one who's experienced this lack of reporting when live streams are started up. Okay, so fear not. Fear not. The brethren is speaking and talking about this problem. And by that I mean the YouTube brethren is what I'm saying. So okay, I just put this on Facebook, and I'm gonna put this on Twitter. Where's Barry Lee when you need him? Let's see here. And when I'm done doing that, I will then go back to to see if your statement is ready, Joseph Binsman. And when that's ready, then I'll read that, among other things. And it's interesting how, oh, never mind. I'm not going to bother you with that. I'll just simply get her done. NBA Finals, and then Oakland, like that. And it's ready for Twitter, I think. Yeah. Voila, it is. Wait a minute. There. Okay, got that one. All right, now back to your points. Hey, everybody. Christian, you got the notification. Great. Joseph Benjamin says, I think it was refreshed tonight and showed you live now. Okay. Christian says, big pic of you in my notification. Yee. The pic with me in the suit and tie? GT Terror says, yes, but had to refresh twice. Okay. Joseph Benjamin says, I think LeBron is going to leave it all out in Game 3 and see if he can inspire his guys to take Game 3. We will see how it goes. Joseph Benjamin says, Warriors win Game 3. They will have the stranglehold, but I sense a close Game 3 coming up. Malconton says, this was a much more complete game by the Warriors, hoping that Iguodala returns for at least Game 1 in Cleveland. I think that's the big key. I think Malcontent. Hey, by the way, Malcontent, my condolences on your loss, and I have not at all forgotten to follow up on your request. I will do that when I have an opportunity very soon. Hey, John Marks, how you doing? Congratulations on the announced. Well, I want to give it away, but I would say congratulations on your decision to start an internet radio business. Okay, so that's going to be a lot of fun to watch get going, to say the least. Hope Barry Lee's okay. I haven't seen Barry. Maybe he was around. Sean Green, how are you? How are you doing, Mr. Green? Hope you're well. I need to figure out a way to tie this into my newest blog, Oakland News Now, so that if you go there, I wonder if I went there, if you could tell if I was on live. I've tried experimenting with different ways to determine, and I haven't found that way yet. Like, for example, right now I have with this Kendrick Lamar, but that's not live stream, okay? So I'm wondering, how I would do that. And I'll have to figure that one out, because that's not happening there. Oh, wait a minute. I do have it on live stream. Never mind. Okay. It is. So I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I'm just going to need to make a quick change, folks, that is germane to my my greatest creation, as I call it. And you say, what? But it is. I feel like Dr. Frankenstein when I go in and make changes to this newest WordPress blog that I've created, that, in point of fact, is part of Google News now. Yeah, that's right. Part of Google News. So, but I'm making this change now so that you'll have an extra place to go. And I'm going to show you where you can go to find out whether or not my live stream is, active. And you can also go to zenny62blog.com, and there's a link to the live stream there as well. And you can also go to Oakland News Now and Oakland News Online. I've got two blogs with Oakland News in the title, okay? And so that's what I'm working on, basically, if you haven't figured it out, is a tech way of taking over online media in Oakland. It's what I'm trying to do. And so far, I've made some headway, but I don't want to get too much talking about that. Now, back to the game. The Warriors were playing a game that I thought was more reliant on space than ever before. They stopped trying the inside game as much. You notice that? They went away from what it seemed they were doing for most of the season, which is playing like a more conventional basketball team, and they went back to being the Warriors. Shooting threes, long passes, and tight defense. That was, to me, that was the biggest difference that I saw in the Warriors tonight. And when you have the kind of speed and shooting talent the Warriors have, space, and by that I mean literally the spacing between players, is something that is much talked about in basketball strategy nowadays, is your friend. And believe me, the Warriors have made space their best friend, I think, well, yeah, more so than any other NBA team in history, let alone this season, and certainly better than the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's interesting the Cavaliers haven't figured out the riddle of how to deal with what I call the space problem that the Warriors present. And so you would say, okay, Zenny, so how would you deal with the space problem if you were the Cavs? My answer is, simply I'd go to man for man, and I play press with my smaller guys to start with for speed, but I really play press because I've never seen anyone play a full court press most of the game against the Warriors and get them off rhythm. I mean, that's really what you need to do. Now, yeah, and I've seen that tight defense work, right? But I haven't seen it in the form of a full court press. And I'd love to see that just as a way of testing a theory, yeah? You know what I mean? I would really love to see that as a way of testing a theory. And I think it would work. I really do. Okay, now I'll show you my latest creation, which only took a second to fix and rearrange, and I did it. And now it is there. Okay, this is what I'm referring to. If you go to Oakland, this is my newest blog, Oakland News Now. Hey, welcome to Zenny62, by the way. Oh, and by the way, I have to show you. This appeared during the NBA Finals. This was a photograph ESPN ABC put up that shows someone in a hoodie barbecuing on the shores of Lake Merritt and about the area where the Barbecue Becky incident occurred on April 29th, sponsored by Cadillac and with the Larry O'Brien Trophy in the foreground along with the Cadillac logo. I thought that was hilarious, so I made a video about it and a story. Now, you see this? These are the latest standalone, latest video that's uploaded. See, this says Zenny62 Livestream, right? So all you have to do is click on this, and what do you see when it opens? Well, you will see, once it gets going, it should get going. Why it's spinning, it can only be spinning if indeed my channel is spinning. And maybe it's not. Hold on a second. That's Oakland News Now there. We'll go over to Google Chrome and see what's going on. And let's see here. Google Chrome. Okay, it's spinning, 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 as you can see. But there it is. Okay, there, all right? That's it. Okay? You can see, you can watch the actual live stream if you click on it. My next endeavor is going to be to figure out how to put a kind of a Ajax code in here so that it clicks live when this is live, so that you know this is live rather than just having to, you know, randomly click on the arrow here like this to see that it's on. But as you can see, the live stream can come through any of my other outlets like this one. Pretty neat, huh? This is on again. No, my latest blog, Oakland News on 9 Now, and I'm going to talk about John Fox, going to talk about Rebecca Kaplan running for mayor. Lots to talk about here, okay? Lots to talk about. But I'm really proud of that. My newest creation, oaklandnewsnow.com. But we cover all kinds of news. So I've got a great article on there about Jameis Winston and the Uber incident, and as well as some news to report there. Hey, welcome to Zenny62 tonight, everybody. And I'm going to go back and get your comments real quick. In fact or fiction, Kevin Love is traded this offseason. Fact. He's going to be traded. And I'll tell you why I think he's going to be traded, okay? Real quick. In game 1, when he was sitting out, I don't know if anybody remembers or noticed the scene where he was talking to Rachel Nichols and Doris from ABC, and he was having this, in the middle of the game, casual conversation like nothing was going on. He had no concern, even though at the time the Cavs were getting their brains beat out by the Warriors. To me, maybe I'm just old school in that way. I'm not old school in a lot of ways, but I thought that if you are a star and you're claiming to be hurt and out of the game, what are you doing cavorting with what looked like, you know, cavorting with the ladies? All right? Any coach would say, "Hey, look, don't cavort with the ladies. If you can cavort with, if you can hang with the ladies, you can play out there. Okay, go and play. Right? That was a bad sign. So my question was, hey, how committed is he to really winning? All right, was it fair to base a judgment on him on that one scene? No, it wasn't, and I admit that. But what I'm saying is, the visual that it sends, even if it doesn't really speak even if it doesn't speak anything that's true about him, the visual that it sends is bad. And, did Love play well? Yeah, he did. Could he have played better? Yes. The Cavs lost. They got hammered down the stretch. So absolutely. Now, Malcontent says it's a more complete game. Joseph Ben says Warriors win game 3. They will have a stranglehold. I mentioned that one. I said hi to John Marks. Hi. And got my... And John Marks says, thank you for support, to which I say thank you. And Corey Brown says Warriors need to crank up the heat even more. No let up. Boots to the neck. Or how about the Masters of Space playing a full court press to just completely take the Cavs out of the game 3? That's what I do. I mean, I talked about the advantages of using a full court press in the world of 3, right? Why not do it against the Cavs and really rattle them? Boy, as quick as the Cavs are to get, off the mark a little bit, that will do it. I mean, that'll really do it because they're already rattled. They gave one of their best efforts in their entire lives game 1. It didn't work because of their own miscues. Okay. They let that get in their heads until that by the time they got to game 2, it was, they were just quite literally going through the motions, it seemed. They were trying to kick it in. You can see they're trying to kick it in. And then that matter with Kendrick on the sideline, on the sideline there, really seemed to ignite Steph Curry and just started raining threes, man. I mean, he was already doing it, but wow. The fourth quarter, it was just a barrage. Forget it. Good evening, Rob Iman. How you doing? And KD says, if LeBron does not find another legitimate contender to shack up with in the next 2 seasons, he should just retire. I think he can find one. It's called the Golden State Warriors. Rob Iman says, fact or fiction? I answered that one, I believe, about, Warriors sign Nerlens Noel this offseason. Fiction. The Warriors signed LeBron James this season, offseason. Yeah. Kevin KD says the Warriors offense reminds me of an empty set spread in a shotgun formation. Yeah, 5 wide spacing, kind of like Art Boyles and the Baylor offense. I know Art Boyles went out in a way from being the coach of Baylor that was not admirable, but it does not take away his strategic knowledge of the game. Sean Grogan says they don't have the athletes to match up with the Warriors. Kevin KD says Sean Grogan, LeBron made his bed this time around. Kevin KD also says everyone knows that LeBron is the real Cavs GM. Yeah. Well, he's also the real GM for the Heat as well, right? I mean, he went from Cleveland, was the GM of the Heat, went there. Then while he was with the Heat, became the GM for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then went there. Okay, so he's been the GM for 2 teams, not just one. 2 teams, okay? You could also argue that Chris Paul was the GM for the Rockets, was becoming the GM. He's already recruiting LeBron, right? It's kind of cool. So, Joseph Binsman says, not enough star power. Can't stop Curry, Durant, and Clay with just LeBron. Not going to happen. Sean Grogan says, LeBron will have J.R. Smith traded if he remains on the Cavs. I thought that too. But the one thing that J.R. Smith did over the course of the years is he got a haircut. He used to have a crazy haircut. I thought J.R. was more interested in styling and profiling and playing basketball. And then after the first NBA Finals loss, he, actually, no, it was actually the year before that. He changed, became more focused, more polished, just took off. Hey, everybody, welcome to Zenny62 for those who've just joined us. And John Mark says, Barbecue Becky, laugh out loud. Yeah, that was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And I'm trying to catch up to your comments here. And I got the Kevin Love one out of the way. Malconton says, Sean and Kev, if the Cavs lose again this year, I think LeBron may trade himself to the Warriors. Kevin KD says, Barbecue Becky, she will never live the shame down, and rightfully so. Yeah, and you know what bothers me is that there's still people in Oakland who feel that she was right for what she did. Who, there was an email that I saw from someone, excuse me, I just got a little something in my eye here. There was an email that I saw from someone on a listserv, I'm not going to mention, but it was scarily in support of what she did by a woman who seems to be still looking for people who barbecue on the lake. I'm not kidding you, black folks. She doesn't say it that way, but reading into what she wrote and the timing, any normal person would think, hey, I'm not racist. I don't want anybody to think I am. And, you know, why waste time writing that kind of email? But she did. And I'm thinking, these are the folks who live in my neighborhood, which I haven't been to in a while. Still sending rent that way. You know what I mean? That was bad. It was just straight up bad. And that was 2 days ago on a listserv. And I'll just say which listserv it was. It's called Cleveland Heights listserv. Cleveland Heights is an area in Oakland. So John Mark says, isn't she on the Mark Davis security detail? You know, I've heard that. Malconton says, what choice does he have? He who? Kevin KD says, so I don't fully blame Kevin Love. Malconton says, I'm not sure, but LeBron will likely do whatever is best for LeBron. That much is certain. John Mark says, are the Cavs done? I think so. Malconton says, you know what? Let's wait until game 3. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, because remember something. The Warriors had the Cavs down 3-1 and lost. I'll never forget that, okay? Don't victimize yourself with a short memory. And so we've got Malconton says King James can only do so much without more talent. But who? Kevin KD says John Marks. Yeah, but that's the Eastern Conference for you. Rather, Kevin KD says that to John Marks. John Marks says, didn't the Warriors defense falter in the third quarter of play in game 2? Yeah, because we didn't have that margin that we're normally used to, that spurt. That came, ironically enough, after the spat that between Steph and Kendrick. And the Warriors went on this run, and Steph started raining more threes, and they pulled ahead in the fourth quarter. The spat occurred between the third and the fourth quarters. Whatever Kendrick said, which Steph isn't coughing up, he's saying it was much ado about nothing. But it was something, because it caused Steph to make a zigzaggerate path toward this guy in the stands and say something to his face. Okay? That's what he did. And Kendrick's not playing. He's inactive. In street clothes. All right? So whatever happened there, Steph went in 2 ways. He went that way, and he went that way. Win. So we've got Jordan Yancey says LeBron will go to the Lakers with Paul George. I still can't see that. John Mark says LeBron in LA. Woo. Everyone's in love with the idea of LeBron in LA with Paul George, and then of course with the not what's his name? Not I always think of his father. You know, Bell, right? But LeVar Ball, I'm sorry, Jordan with LeVar Ball's son. Isn't that sad that when you think of the star rookie or now second-year player for the Lakers, you can't quite remember his name except that he's LeVar Ball's son. All right, that's Lonzo Ball. Sorry, Lonzo. And Lonzo is not a household. Lonzo is not a common name. But his father so looms over him. Talking about Lonzo Ball now for a second. That you can only think of Lonzo Ball as LeVar Ball's son. Oh, and by the way, he has 3 sons. So the logical question would be, which one, Zinni? Come on, don't be stupid, Zinni. Right? So, Joseph Benson says, that's some wishful thinking, laugh out loud. LeBron is not retiring for at least 5 years. He's in great shape, says Joseph Benjamin, and is still building his legacy with plenty of game left, not done anytime soon. Kevin KD says to John Marks, yeah, I did. By the way, Stephen A. Smith claimed that LeBron's going to the Warriors really hurt his legacy. No, it would not. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. No offense to the great Stephen A. Smith, but let me tell you why it's stupid. These days, great players go to be with other great players. LeBron started it himself. You know, he went from Cleveland, teamed with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, and they went to Miami, won the NBA Finals. Then he did the same thing going back to Cleveland, okay? And then Cleveland reconstituted itself, not necessarily with him in mind, it would seem, but now they're back to the finals. This is the 4th time they've been back to the finals with LeBron James. The 4th time. And LeBron himself has been hunting around for the right combination. It's logical. And a part of his legacy for the final stop, if this would be that, in LeBron's career, to be with the Golden State Warriors. To be with, finally, a team with the right stars to allow him to have yet another ring and cement his legacy of being able to bring or help bring a finals to wherever he went. Even at what will be, I believe, 34 years old. Not only that, there are people who believe that LeBron James is a sort of a child of the East, right? This would completely obliterate that because he would be in the Western Conference playing a style of basketball that people like Charles Barkley don't like, with the other greatest basketball player of the modern era, Kevin Durant, as his partner. Why not see that? Why not have that kind of pairing, if only to say, we saw it, they played this way, they won, here's a template for the future. I love the idea. It will only hurt LeBron to those people who feel that the Warriors have to have some sort of challenger that represents traditional basketball, as opposed to a modern, intelligent approach which says, forget the Warriors having a challenger that represents the past. How about just simply having a basketball team that wins? Presenting the Warriors. What's wrong with that? Nothing. There's some, the underlying message in all this is manhood, or lack thereof. The Warriors are not men. They don't get under the paint and fight and throw elbows and all that stuff. So they get KD to do some of that. They are, reasonably effective at doing it. They get away from their personality a bit, okay? But then in the playoffs, and especially now in the finals, they find themselves yet again. And look at the people crying and they don't like it. Oh, boo-hoo. This is ridiculous, all right? So, Rob Iman says LeBron goes to Houston if he leaves Cleveland. Kevin KD says, look, he said that it would eviscerate all the goodwill that he did for Cleveland when he won them a championship. No, it wouldn't. That's the most ridiculous thing. That is the most ridiculous freaking thing I've ever heard of. Who cares what Cleveland thinks, okay? He left Cleveland once before he went to Miami. He has brought Cleveland not one, not two, not three, but now four Eastern Conference championships in a row, okay? In a row. And one championship within that. I mean, all right? So, boy, that burns me up. That's absolutely ridiculous. It's like they're babies or something. And so, John Mark says, Stephen A. Smith is no actor during that little voice in my stomach in the Bobby. I don't understand that one. Commercial. Okay. Kevin KD says, I don't want LeBron taking the ball out of Steph's hands. I don't think that'll happen. Kevin KD says the Cavs were asleep at the wheel in the fourth quarter. While Byman says maybe Kendrick plays game 3 to try to fight Draymond. Wouldn't surprise me. If Lou lets him. Jordan Yancey says Lonzo. Thank you. Ramon Garcia says, what's your prediction on the Oakland Raiders this year coming up? John Mark says 8-8. I say I'm not ready to make a prediction right now for two reasons. I have not seen their offense schematically, and I haven't seen what the rest of the AFC West is going to do. I'm not a guy who just says on paper because you have player X, Y, and Z, you should do this. The one thing I'm certain of regarding the Raiders is that Maurice Hurst will be All-Pro this year. I'm certain of that. Jordan, which means Defensive Rookie of the Year, or he'll be in that conversation. Jordan Yancey says the Warriors do not have the cap room, to sign LeBron unless you trade somebody. Exactly. Malcontent says, Z, are you talking about Kendrick Perkins? Yes, I am. I think you said Kendrick Lamar. If I did, it was a Freudian slip. Kevin KD says, Jordan Yancey, the Warriors would just be fine without LeBron. In fact, I don't think I said Kendrick Lamar at all. I said Kendrick, but I left the rest, unsaid. So if you're so used to hearing Kendrick and Lamar, you might have thought you heard me say Lamar, but I didn't. But whatever. It was Kendrick Perkins. Jordan Yancey, Kevin KD says to Jordan Yancey, the Warriors would just be fine without LeBron. Kevin KD says Klay Thompson and Sean Livingston would have to go in order for us to get LeBron. Livingston, yes. Thompson, no. I think that the situation as far as LeBron is such that there are players who would take a cut to get him. I really believe if the Warriors felt that LeBron wanted to come to the Bay Area, the players to a man would make arrangements to accommodate him. They've done it before to get KD. I really believe that. So I really believe that. Kevin KD says the Warriors will be just fine without LeBron. He may be right. Klay Thompson. He also says Klay Thompson and Sean Livingston would have to go. As I mentioned before, I'm unfortunately mistakenly repeating his comment. Kevin KD says the days of traditional basketball are over. The days of traditional basketball ended when the Warriors went on a 17-0 run in 2015. That's when those days ended, okay? It wasn't so much that they executed the style of play that they became known for. It's the fact that it worked. If they did it and it didn't work, we wouldn't be talking about the Warriors right now. We might very well be talking about LeBron still. So we've got John Mark says, Kevin KD says to John Mark 7 and 9 for the silver and black. Why, ask? John Mark says 1981 season. Ramon Garcia says Raiders go 10-6 or better. John Mark says wishful thinking, but it's cool. Barry Lee, how you doing? Welcome. Rob Iman says 7 and 9. Kevin KD says, hey, Barry Lee. John Mark says, hey, Barry Lee, how are you? Malcontent says, hey. I say, hey. We all say, hey, Barry Lee. Hey, how you doing, man? Me. Hey. Well, whatever. Okay, I'm going off there. I was trying to rhyme, and I believe I've gotten all of your comments to this point. I do. Woohoo. Now, let me clear my throat. Very strong. And ask all of you, switching to Raiders talk for a second. Let me get this in from Joseph Benjamin, and we'll switch to Raiders talk. Joseph Benjamin says, basketball, as I grew up with, has been gone for years. The tough guy hard-nosed defense, don't go in the lane, hand-checking 90s era ended a while ago. It's been a new era around since 2006. You mean no more Bill Laimbeer? Ramon Garcia says offense will be fine, giving the defense time to get better. I guess you're referring to the Raiders. But we both say hello, Ramon Garcia, welcome. Malcontent says, to Tom Kohler, agreed, depends on Derek Carr and the new secondary. I disagree. It depends on the pass rush and the use of single gap. That's what it depends on. Remember, this is a new Raider defense. They've always two-gapped. Four-man front, single gap, I love it, okay? Scheme matters, and that's why I'm waiting. You know what bothers me? Speaking of scheme, is an interview session I saw featuring Raiders offensive coordinator Greg Olsen and the media at the Raider headquarters. Oh, it was teeth gnashing. Why? Well, Greg Olsen he'll field the necessary questions and he gets asked, well, so is the same John Gruden is on the sidelines before, you know, with the, yeah, sure. So, Mr. Coach Olsen, describe, you know, how early you get in the building. So, Coach Olsen, what do you think of Doug Martin, the way he comports himself? I mean, what bothers me is it's quite obvious by the questions that are asked that the media people know nothing of football. I mean, I would like to know, for example, are they using a mix of man-for-man blocking and zone blocking? I would like to know to what extent they've installed the offense, and if they haven't installed it, where are they in its design? I would like to know if they're practicing with the no-huddle system. You know, I want to know football. I don't want to know this who shot John stuff. They don't ask football questions. And yet they're paid to sit there. I'm thinking, what? And when I get in there, I ask a football question. I did it with Derek Carr, okay? I like football. I like football. They don't act like they like football, let alone know anything about football. It is really annoying. I mean, it hurts me to hear the questions asked in these interviews at that level and not, I mean, I prefer the NFL owners' meetings because you get media that really like football and they really know football, and so you're less likely to get those questions. And then there are guys like Ira Kaufman of Joe Buck's fan who has covered the game for 40 years, and we have a wide-ranging conversation about Jameis Winston, the scheme, everything else, right? It's great. But, man, can't tell anything. So what does this have to do with guessing? What it has to do with it is that we're at the early stages of designing and installing the offense. And really, you start installing the offense in training camp, okay? But you still want to know what's on the drawing board as much as they can tell you, what the common approach is going to be as much as they can tell you. Same on defense, okay? Because one thing to have the concept as Gruden had described to me, but it's another thing to implement it. You have to know at a baser level what you're going to do schematically before you can have anybody go through practices and OTAs, because if you have a system that calls for running back blocking, then what do you need to do? You need to practice running back blocks. If you have a system that calls for knowledge of how to read the linebacker, whether or not the linebacker blitz is going out, or, you know, if you're going out for a pass and linebacker blitzes, you have to chip him. There's a way that you do it, and you keep going out. You have to practice that sort of thing, okay? So, and I can go on and on and on. And now, Ramon Garcia says in response to my rant, I think they don't want to give away any kind of information on what style of play that Gruden will want. But, Ramon, I get that. My point is that no one asks those questions. It'll be one thing to ask the question, okay, and then hear the coach say that. We don't get that chance. And you look at my videos, when I've asked those questions, no one's ever shut me down. I get an answer. I get an answer, all right? So no. Let me go back and we've got Joseph Benson says it would help to get Raiders to get a running game. And John Mark says if the Raiders go 3 in the first 4 games, they might have something. 3-1, I guess. He says beat the LA Rams first, then we'll talk. I'm not convinced the Rams are the team to beat. Ramon Garcia says if they don't want to give, I got that one. Chunk Caller says I think the run game will be better without Lynch. He's just a one-man show. But Tom Caller, I like one-man shows. Ramon Garcia says don't be surprised if they do beat the LA Rams. I agree. Malcontent says it seems like Gruden is putting the players under a lot of mental stress, sort of preparing them for no-huddle situations on both sides of the ball, read and react. That's an interesting observation. What made you come to that one? Malcontent. John Mark says, can Doug Martin be the same old Doug Martin who beat the Raiders in his rookie season? That's a tall order. I would say no. Ramon Garcia says the student against the teacher. John Mark says, yeah, you may be onto something, Ramon Garcia. And Ramon says, you're right about that. And Rick Gray says, Rick Gray, how you doing? Nice to have you here. Did anyone really comment on tonight's Warriors versus Cleveland game? Yeah, we did, Rick. And I'll reiterate that I personally think, and I'd like to know your opinion, but I think that we have to wait until what happens with Game 3 to then be able to declare whether or not this thing is done. All right? But I remind everybody that the Warriors were up 3-1 and then lost. And they lost. All right? They lost. Nice to have you, Rick. Ramon Garcia says, depends on how they utilize Doug Martin. I think it depends on how they utilize not just Doug Martin, but also Marshawn Lynch in play action. And I want to see if they use the I call it the modern variation of play action out of the shotgun, which I haven't seen the Raiders do, but once. And that was a couple of times where they had under Todd Downing a couple of plays, but not many. They were almost boutique in their addition. What I mean by that is they're plays that were not part of a larger series, but they were unto themselves. For example, the Raiders had a fake halfback sweep, and the quarterback would go this way, and he's supposed to throw across. That was out of a shotgun, and they used that preseason and once during the regular season. But then they had a sweep handoff to the running back, which came out of a formation that didn't have proper outside contain, and it didn't have pulling guards. Okay, so when they ran it, it was not surprisingly stopped for a 2-yard loss, and that happened against the Patriots. Boy, I'm shaking my head because I think of the number of annoying play designs I saw from Coach Downing. No offense to Coach Downing, over the time that he was with the Raiders. Just stuff that just drove me nuts. Anyway. Now, Ramon Garcia says if the players buy into John Gruden's system, then Lynch and Martin will be fine. From my experience, buying into a system means that the system worked. The only way you buy into a system is when the system works. You don't buy into it immediately other than to learn it. But let's say you learn it and then it doesn't work, and you're like, oh, man. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, man. Okay? John Marks asked this question. Can the Raiders be a 10-6 team with a new secondary and perhaps a patched-up offensive line? I think the Raiders should have drafted Cam Robinson. Yes, sorry, Donald Penn, I'm not. I said it last year, I'll say it again. If the Raiders had drafted Cam Robinson, Donald Penn would not have held out because it would have made him expendable. Ramon Garcia says, because Can set the tone because they buy the younger players follow or something like that, whatever. I didn't get that, Ramon. It didn't come off right. One moment, please. It's hot up here. I'm going to turn on the air back here. It's been a humid day, and it's hot. Hold on a second. Malcontent and Rick Gray, give me one moment. I'm going to get your questions. I need to turn this on. It is one of those days. I had to cool off my head. Phew, boy. It is hot up here. That is, to say the least. And I think the other thing I'm going to do is get a cold bottle of water. I'll be right back. Okay. Woo! Whoa, boy. That is, whew, much better, folks. All right. All right, now. We got, Malcolmton says, Carr and others say Coach Gruden is testing the players' grasp of the playbook by testing them with spur-of-the-moment situations at the line of scrimmage, which begs the question about the playbook, okay, and the plays. That's why I asked that. Rick Gray says, hi, Zenny, back at you. In Oakland or Atlanta, Cleveland has no one to guard Steph. If the Warriors would lose another one, whether Clay or Steph or KD, there would be a series. Also, if Green keeps it in check. Ramon Garcia says, I mean the veterans, my fault. John Mark says, hot in Georgia, Zenny. That is the understatement of the year. It's not as hot as in Vegas, where it's 106. John Mark says, Jeopardy, think tank music. Yeah, I should have something like that. All right. Ms. Zeitgeist, how you doing? Ms. Zeitgeist says, Curry is 16 threes away from breaking Ray Allen's postseason record. If he keeps this up, he's got finals MVP in the bag. Let's figure that out. 4 times 4 is 16, so you would need 4 threes in 4 games. In order to do that, if the Warriors win game 3 and then game 4, that would be it. So he would fall just short, unless of course he gets 9 threes next game and then 9 threes the other game, and then she's got 18, right? So he would finish close unless the Cavs win and you get an extension. if it becomes a 7-game series, yeah, he's got it. I can't see that. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. Now, I want to get to some news that may not seem that it's directly related to the Raiders, but it is. And it has to do with the Nevada, first of all, the Nevada governor's race, all right? And by the way, California primary, my longtime friend Gavin Newsom's lieutenant governor, he's running for governor, vote for Gavin. Now, as far as the Nevada primary, it's a big deal. In fact, I'm typing Nevada primary now, 2018, because this is a primary that is shaped by the so Nevada primary is not. California primary is Tuesday. Nevada primary is June 12th. It's the week. I apologize. The Nevada primary is a week from Tuesday. Okay? But it's not out of line to talk about the Nevada primary route now and who's running for what, okay, for 2018, particularly governor, and where the race is. So I'm going to type Nevada governor poll. Nevada governor polls. Real Clear Politics election 2018. Nevada governor Laxalt versus Sisolak. They've got it. Oh gosh, I hate these ads. Okay, polling data. Scrolling down. One of these pages that's so JavaScript laden with ads that it takes a long time to open. It was really annoying. All right, now we've got the Nevada Independent has Sisolak by 6 over Laxalt. Okay, Sisolak by 6 over Laxalt for Nevada governor. And I think they apparently believe it's going to be that. Now, let me see something. We've got, see if that holds, because that's Nevada governor that way. Those candidates. The way this page is designed, I'm going to turn away from it because it doesn't give you the whole field of candidates. It just picks out 2 of them, okay? So now here's another one. By the Review Journal, which says poll shows dead heat in Democratic race for Nevada governor. And that was as of May 29th. And I believe I mentioned that there was a dead heat before. By the way, it is 10:26 at night in Las Vegas and it's 94 degrees. 94 degrees. That's hot. Now, the dead heat is specifically 38% of voters choosing Sisolak, while 35% said they voted for Giuliani. The poll has a margin of error of 4 points. Now, why is this important? Is because Sisolak pushed the Raiders Stadium. Giuliani did not, but she didn't stridently oppose it either. She just voted against the bond issue, among other things. But she wasn't threatening it like Nevada Treasurer Dan Schwartz, who said, hey, look, if I'm governor, I'm going to pull the road money from this thing. Okay? She's not saying anything like that. But right now, Sisolak, according to the May 29th report, is ahead. Now, I'm going to check the Nevada Independent and see if there's anything new developing from the website started by John Ralston. It says Republicans stepping up the ground game, building a volunteer army ahead of the 2018 election, because they have another week. On the trail, governor candidate Adam Laxalt sells himself as bulwark against Democratic tide. And let's see here. Indie blog. Culinary Union and Caesars Entertainment reached tentative contract. So they escaped. We escaped. They escaped the strike horror. Lee and Tarkanian lead pack on primary fundraising totals in Nevada's 3rd congressional district. And that's pretty much about it. And just a couple of, there's nothing else here that would appear to point to any other news that is more Raiders specific. After half-day workshop, Reno inches closer to climate and sustainability action plan. Nevada Energy rolls out renewable energy plan, sound about waivers on support for energy choice. And as usual, the Nevada Independent is steering clear of reporting anything about the Raiders. Nothing. They have deliberately avoided the entire subject. So, like I said, hey, nothing happened, all right? There's former prostitutes alleged unwanted sexual contact from brothel owner Dennis Hoff. And on the record, the policy positions of Democratic Clark County District Attorney Rob Langford. And that's about it, okay? Nothing about the biggest story coming out of Nevada, and that's that wild dilly-dilly thing. And that's pretty much exactly what you should call it, is the wild dilly-dilly thing. Let's see what the Las Vegas Sun is reporting. And I refuse to use the actual word. And the Las Vegas Sun is a Democratic publication, so its headline reads, Laxalt takes self-serving approach to Republican primary. And talks about the culinary workers news. If I click over on the Raiders, see what it's got there. As far as Raiders, of course, the Golden Knights play tomorrow night. Just the news about the excavation work being nearly complete. That's about it. Which the question is nearly. What's nearly, right? Is it nearly or is it gnarly? And that is pretty much it. Let's have another different look at this from a Twitter perspective. Christian Giuliani is holding a party right now. 42 minutes ago. Every woman is in such a great band. Thank you to everyone who made it out to the Burke House tonight. Now, the California primary is Tuesday, okay? Gavin Newsom is the front runner by far. And on my blog on Oakland News Now, I have what I believe is a post you must read if you have even the slightest interest in data and politics. And the title of it, I'm going to show you this, okay, real quick, is, goes like this. Boom. Poll saying John Carks is competitive with Gavin Newsom in California governor's race is wrong. See Google Trends. There was a poll that had the businessman in second place, but I went to Google Trends, as I love Google Trends, and I looked at this, okay? This is the actual information for the race. As you can see right here, boom. Isn't that really neat? Look at how that changed. Isn't that neat? Isn't that neat? Just embed that. Okay, look at that, okay? Gavin is at 92. John Cox has only 6. Antonio Villaraigosa has moved to a tie with Travis Allen, and John Chiang is 26, okay? So my point is, as I said, first of all, Google Trends has been an accurate predictor of elections. It really has. What you want to do with Google Trends is Google your candidates. In Google Trends, search for your candidates, put them up in the system there, and then see, hey, who's going to come out, who's ahead. And that pretty much tells you who's going to win the election. For example, if I go to Google Trends right now, and I start a new Google Trend on a race, let's say I start a Google Trend on the local race in Alameda County for district attorney between Pamela Price and Nancy O'Malley. First I'll type Nancy O'Malley, okay, and then I'll put Pamela Price next to her. They're both, Pamela Price is actually a topic, and ooh, holy cow, holy cow, holy cow, holy cow. Okay. This is interesting, folks. This is quite interesting. This is very interesting. I mean, very interesting. Why is it very interesting? Because it's very interesting. That's only in Vermont. Past 12 months, let's see, how about the United States? Worldwide. Sorry, folks, I just got a bit of a shocker of a result. Let me do that one more time. Nancy O'Malley. O'Malley. Search term. Okay. And then Pamela Price. Search term. Wow. Pamela Price is going to beat Nancy O'Malley for district attorney. This is why I say this. Look at this, okay? If I'm not mistaken, look at that. Now, the question, look at that, okay? Look at this. Nancy O'Malley is the district attorney. Pamela Price is running against her. Look down here. O'Malley and Price. California, here. Okay, look at that. Pamela Price, 94, O'Malley, 6. Okay. That points now, in Vermont for Pamela Price, I wish I could take out Vermont. You know, just kind of get rid of that and find out what's happening. But okay, this is California. Look at this. Pamela Price, this is more accurate. Pamela Price has zoomed ahead of Nancy O'Malley. This is for California only. This is what you want to see. Okay? That means, folks, that Alameda County is about to have a new district attorney. That's what that means. And if what I showed you happens to follow what is the normal path for Google Trends, which is to predict accurately elections, this could be a landslide. That's what it shows. It all depends on turnout. Let me get back to your comments. But, all right, working backward. Now, Rick Ray says, at what price is the stadium just under profitable? I know no one goes to the Rams Chargers games now. Who's going to pay the $4.6 billion freight? Can the Raiders Stadium to $5 billion? Let me answer that, Rick Ray. Right now, the Raiders Stadium, you're not going to cover it solely with ticket price sales. Sponsorships cover the, in part, construction costs, in part, operating costs. Right now, because I don't have any more fundamental data, from an operations standpoint, the Raiders are roughly still $5 billion in the hole, $571 million in the hole. Okay, a $500 million naming rights agreement really helped them out a lot. $1 billion in sponsorships is what they need to pencil out. Okay, $1 billion. The idea of a stadium is to throw out enough cash for the football organization to run itself. That's the whole idea. And so, Murtry says, do I think Michael Phelps has a chance to make a home run? What? Well, that's an off question. We've got Malcontent says, I used to work with Pamela Price in Oakland. She was an associate at our law firm. Are you going to vote for her? Let's see. We've got another person says, do you think LeBron James will, well, whatever. Let's see here. Do you think Michael Phelps will make the home, what? Okay, here. Let's see. That person is gone. Okay. So, don't want to waste time with that. Now, hey, moderators, where are you? You see ridiculous questions by people, don't waste time. Boom. Boot them. Boot them. Okay? Boot them. John Mark says, what wild dilly-dilly thing in Vegas? I'm not answering that question, man. I am way not answering that question. John Mark says, remember, folks, polls don't win elections. John Mark says, what's Dan Schwartz poll readings? Great question, John Marks. Let's find out right now. Let's find out right now. John Marks poll readings. I mean, did I say that? I did say that. Hey, Malcontent, maybe I did accidentally say Kendrick Lamar. After just that brain fart, I'm thinking now it's well within the realm of possible, and I apologize if you heard it and I didn't hear myself say it. After saying that, okay, fine. Now, Dan Schwartz. I like to get Dan Schwartz on here. Dan Schwartz. Dan Schwartz is so tied to the Raiders that if you type Dan Schwartz, you get Dan Schwartz Raiders. And you get this. You get my videos. Woo! All right. Number 2 in the results. Okay. Now, to answer your question about Dan Schwartz polls. Nevada. Governor. Because he's treasurer. Okay. Okay. The independent poll. Sisolak, this is as of April 24th. The independent poll, Sisolak, Laxalt, far ahead in governor primaries, Dems lead in other statewide races. A new poll shows well-funded Clark County Commission Chair Steve Sisolak has a comfortable lead in Nevada's contentious Democratic gubernatorial primary, pulling ahead of his commission colleague Chris Giuliani 44% to 16%, with 40% of likely voters saying they are undecided. Wow, but 40%. Wow. On the Republican side, Attorney General Adam Laxalt has an even more commanding lead in the primary. He leads his closest opponent by 51 points, according to the survey from the Melman Group. Hold on a second. Just doing something here real quick. From the Melman Group, that took Nevada's temperature in the high-stakes race to replace termed-out Republican Governor Brian Sandoval. Still, 38% of Republican primary voters are undecided. Those are high groups, high numbers. Democrats are still favored for the governor's seat in a matchup between frontrunners Sisolak and Laxalt. They're also in the lead in races for Attorney General, Secretary of State, and Lieutenant Governor, although many voters remain undecided. The results unveiled Tuesday of last week come from a statewide survey that was commissioned by the Nevada Independent and conducted among 400 Republican voters and 400 Democratic voters from April 12th to 19th for the primary samples and 600 likely voters for the general election numbers. The Republican gubernatorial primary. Poll results show there's little contest in the Republican primary. A whopping 55% of Republican respondents would vote for Laxalt if the election were held now. By contrast, 4% of respondents said they would choose Treasurer Dan Schwartz as governor, and 2% said they would vote for bike shop owner and political newcomer Jared Fisher. Aside from Laxalt, others in the race are largely unknown. 81% of likely Republican voters said they either hadn't heard about Schwartz or didn't know enough about him, even though he holds a statewide office and ran for Congress before that. That figure was even higher, 88% for Fisher. When I read that, folks, what I take from that report is that Dan hasn't bought any TV time, because folks don't read newspapers anymore. So all this talk about he and the Raiders, and he may have gotten a bit of a blip on television, but that was a single issue blip among which people are divided. But if he doesn't have TV time of his own, pumping out his commercials, forget it. And if he's Nevada treasurer and he hasn't done anything to let people know that he's out there, that's bad waste of a seat. You know, if you have a seat in public office, you're treasurer of Nevada, everybody should know who your name is. Everybody should know what you look like. I mean, that's just the way it is. I like that. Maybe I can get him on. Maybe I can get him on this week. Help him get a little more visibility. Of course, yes, I am a great Democrat, but hey, it's news, right? By comparison, 30% said they hadn't heard of Laxalt or didn't know much about him. Whoa, that's still high. Laxalt has far outraised his opponents, courting donations from the Adelson family that owns the Las Vegas Sands, Station Casinos and their owners, the Ferrita family. He has more of a structural advantage, garnering endorsements from sheriffs across the state, opening campaign offices, and mobilizing large teams of volunteers. He also counts on support from outside groups such as Freedom Partners, part of a network run by conservative billionaires, the Koch brothers, which paid $1 million in ads to introduce Laxalt to Nevada voters. Schwartz, on the other hand, has vowed not to take corporate donations and counts mostly on loans from himself, with contributions from family and friends to supplement. Fisher, a political newcomer who's running a grassroots campaign for a healthy Nevada, is likewise almost entirely self-funded. So look, there's an obvious comparison here. If you're going out and you're funded by corporations or whatever, hey, you're more likely to be well-known in the polls, you have more money. Not, you're not. That's the way that is. In the Democratic gubernatorial primary, this is Nevada Independent again, it says 44% of Democrats polled this month said that if the election were held today, they would choose Sisolak. Now, his more liberal opponent in the survey took 16%, although 40% had not decided. Now, that's the thing. Yeah, 40% haven't decided. 44% would choose him, 16% her. So it still spells to be a win based on that poll. But if we apply Google, let's apply the same Google Trends test that we used for the race that I told you about, the Alameda County DA's race. Let's apply that that test, that Google Trends test, to the Nevada primary, and specifically the Democratic governor's race. Why not? Let's take Steve Sisolak, all right, American businessman. Okay, and now let's compare him with Chris Giuliani. Let's see here. Make sure that we have, there we go here. I'm trying to make absolutely certain, excuse me here, make absolutely certain that I've got this down. And wait, technical issue here. Boom. The thing is with, okay, you've got there, and American politician, all right, and okay, Christian Giuliani's going to lose. Have a look, folks. This is what you're seeing, okay? There, all right? That's Steve Sisolak versus Christian Giuliani. He had a major spike here around the Raiders. And then look at this, all right? Okay? He is ahead of she. 34 to 13 there, but she is closing the gap, okay? Unless she can change these numbers, and she's got a shot to do it, because this number is going down for him. If she can change that ratio in the next, she's got a week to do it, she could pull it off, okay? She's been hanging around. He had an advantage here, but lately she's come up, all right? So she could pull it off, but she's got some work to do. This is the average right here, okay? The average, he is 11, she is a 2, all right? So that's big news. She's closing the gap. She's closing the gap. Now, as to why, it could mean that she's finally running her TV ads and they're kicking in. That's what it could mean. So let me get back to your comments and let's see here. Rick Gray says, so with the new tariffs on steel and aluminum and construction materials from overseas, how much do you think the Raiders Stadium and the Rams Stadium will go up in cost? I think the Raiders Stadium, that'll impact it just off the top of my head by about 10%. And same for the, that's just a guess. The Rams Stadium, I'm guessing less because most of it's already built. Okay? So, right now, in fact, that's a great question, Rick Gray. Let's see where the Rams Stadium is. Rams Stadium construction. Rams Stadium. Rams Stadium construction. All right. News. LA Memorial Coliseum. Rams Stadium costs up to $4 billion. You know that. Let's see if there's a webcam. Okay. Trying to find one. Construction's ramping up. Watch it every time. And live stream is on the website. That's where I'm going right now. LA Stadium Entertainment District at Hollywood Park. Let's take a look at this. This is going to tell a lot to answer your question, Rick Gray. There it is. Beautiful. I mean, I have to admit, that is a friggin' beautiful thing. There it is. Wow, look at that. Okay. Look at that. And that's another angle. I don't quite know what angle that is, except that it seems to be away from stadium. That's live. There's views 1 here. This is view 2. Look at view 2. All right, this tells me a lot. The impact on the tariff will be, if anything, far less, because all this is already built. They've already ordered this material, paid for it, it's come in, they're building it, okay? There's another shot, all right? There. So I would say, I would revise that. I would say for the Raiders Stadium, it's probably about 15 or 20%. For the Rams Stadium, maybe it's more like 5. But the question is, at what point in their construction schedules are they, Rams and Raiders, in the delivery of steel, aluminum, other materials? Raiders are still in the early stages of the delivery of that, in accordance with the schedule that, when I first read it, and second time I read it, it's supposed to extend into October. I need to take a look at that again. Rams, they're ahead of that, obviously. So, but I'm got a feeler out there for a person who can answer that question better than I think I can by guess. Who's actually a steel maker. Trying to get that person's comments. Maybe I can get them on the show. All right. Hey folks, it's 1:53 in the morning. I'm gonna stop at 2. And let me make sure. Let me go back and I think Mr. Garcia says, when will the Raiders, the Vegas hotel tax revenue numbers for May be available? They should be available by June of next week. It's generally June 12th, June 14th in there. That's when they come in. That's when they come in. All right. So I am going to, if you all don't have any other questions, and Malcolmton says that he would vote for Pamela Price. She is an excellent attorney and a great person. And I have to get her on the show. I keep reaching out for D.A. O'Malley, and I never hear back from her. I keep trying and trying and trying. Like, hey, what's going on here? Any other closing thoughts before we sign off? Hey, folks, if you're on, please thumbs up. I know some of you are left, but if you get up to, because there's 14 of you on, if all of you would say thumbs up, just give a thumbs up. Why not? I mean, I'm happy with what I've got, but it'll be cool to have all of you on thumbing up, or, a portion. John Mark says, welcome, and then he says, Joe's Business says, fun action at the French Open tomorrow. Oh, yes. What time does that start? Serena versus Sharapova. What time does that start? What time does that start? Thank you for the thumbs up, everybody. Thank you. Serena versus Sharapova. Let me look that up. Thank you, Radio Kuko, for the thumbs up. Thank you all. Hey, thank you all for the thumbs up. Serena versus Sharapova. Let me clear my throat. Well, not everybody thumbed up, which means I got a bunch of haters on here, but that's okay. That happens. At least you're watching, right? Okay, we've got, it's 8:15 in the morning. 8:15 a.m. 8:15 in the morning. That's what it says. That's what it says. No, wait a minute. Is that right? It can't be. French Open scores and schedules. All times are Eastern. Steffens won. Madison Keys won. Okay, is it June 4th? Yeah, it's 8:15 in the morning. Serena Williams versus Maria Sharapova play at 8:15 in the morning. Okay. I gotta write a blog post about that one. Ooh, doggy. I'm excited. So, there you go. That's something. And thanks everybody for the thumbs up. Well, it's still at 6, but whatever, that happens. I got a thumbs down here I'm looking at. Somebody thumbed down. Whatever. I think the people who thumb down are usually ones who, probably not even can't write anything on the channel, so they're pissed off. So I've got 7 thumbs up out of 14. 50%. Whatever. Okay. Joseph Benjamin says he's going to be watching around 9:30. John Marks says watch horror films. Rob Iman says Heller and Rosen look neck according to Google Trends. What are you talking about, Rob Iman? Barry Lee, I owe you shares. John Marks, watch horror films. Oh, Rob Iman says Nevada Senate race. Heller and Rosen. Right. Stupid idiot me. Thank you. They're locked neck and neck. Wow. Wow. Wowzers. All right. All right, everybody. Joseph Ben says, my New Jersey primaries are Tuesday. Should be interesting. Hey, check. Who's the race there? Yeah, John Marks echoes my question. Who should we root for in the New Jersey primary, Mr. Binsman? Hey, hold on, Malcolm. I'm not going to sign off just yet. I want to hear from Joe Binsman about who we should root for in the New Jersey primaries. And that's of paramount importance. Paramount importance. Waiting. Joseph Binsman says, right now, Mendez and my district, Tamala Harris. For what seats? Is this, are you all vying, like, if I don't know, I should know this. I'm going to do my freaking homework tomorrow, so I'm ready for Tuesday. All I can say is if you're in California, it is your duty to put Gavin Newsom in the governor's chair. He will make a great governor of California. He will make a great representative of the Democratic Party. Joseph Benson says Mendez to be reelected as senator. Ah, Mendez, okay. And Harris for the congressional seat for my district. Gotcha. All right. Okay, folks. Watch horror movies. Keep America strong. See you all tomorrow. I'm going to try to have something special on the eve of the California primary. See you guys. See you, everybody. See ya.